Hi everyone, it's Roger and Abe here from DisKingdom.com with a highlight video from our recent Infinity and Beyond podcast.
There we go. Okay, our next subject for today is going to be the Marvel Battlegrounds, which got announced on the New York City Comic Con website. They basically put out a little bit of information. I'm going to read that back to you. They're going to be doing a presentation at the event, which is taking place in the beginning of October. So on October the 10th, Disney Infinity 3.0 facing off in Battlegrounds on the Empire stage from 4 p.m. till 4:45 p.m. Disney Interactive present a behind-the-scenes look at the new Marvel playset for Disney Infinity 3.0. This year's must-have family game set to launch in 2016. Marvel Battlegrounds set will introduce a new style of gameplay to Disney Infinity, along with characters such as Hulkbuster, Ultron, and others, featuring an in-depth look at the playset. Special guests from Disney Infinity Team, Avalanche, United Front Games, and Marvel, and figure giveaways. So, are you excited about it? Yeah, so that's pretty much the kind of the rundown of what's going to be at the event. What do you think of that first off the bat?
Well, that's awesome. I mean, it kind of reminds me of Comic-Con in 2.0, where they had a presentation, and they had all these people coming out, and then they were doing these demos, and obviously figure giveaways and whatnot. But nonetheless, I'm excited we get to see something in regards to Battlegrounds. I mean, we got Hulkbuster and Ultron, and then we got a couple of teases with Ant-Man, and they still didn't commit to give us anything else. We finally got the title of the playset at D23, and the fact that we're finally going to see something in October is great, but the fact that it doesn't release till spring of next year, it's only gonna all it's gonna do is put this giant carrot on a stick, and we're just gonna be staring at it for a while. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I find it's kind of interesting the fact that it could be nearly 6 months from when we're going to find out about it.
Totally agree with you.
But it does then also look like a good little push for Ultron and Hulkbuster before Christmas to kind of sell those two. As regards to those figures being away, those are the two they're giving away. I can't see them giving away anything that's coming out in spring. I think it's going to be those two figures to kind of get the social kind of, look what I've got, kind of hype train work that seems to have worked very well so far this year. So that's what I think of those figures. What do you think on that?
Well, if it's true, jealousy, yeah, because I totally want Hulkbuster. I honestly, out of the entire 3.0, Game Informer, that was the one figure I only wanted. So, well, aside from Vader, but Hulkbuster was the one.
Yeah, Hulkbuster is definitely going to be in my most useful, but it's kind of interesting that they're doing it this far ahead. Makes sense because of New York Comic Con. Kind of feels like one of the last big sort of conventions of the year. Marvel are generally, I think they are sort of located in New York. That's where they're based, so they don't have to do too much. But I also wonder if they're trying to hype up New York Comic Con a little bit more, trying to get that to be up higher on the list, because Marvel didn't really have a huge presence at San Diego. Maybe they want to spread out the information so they're not all coming out at once. But I like the fact that Disney Infinity are giving a brand new presentation on, here we are, we have the game, and we are still about to learn about a playset coming 6 months down the line. That is big, and characters we don't know. We know that game is in our, we're all playing it, and we do not know the characters coming, which is unique. We've never had this before with Disney Infinity.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. It's definitely a different approach, which is awesome. It's totally welcome, because it's definitely spreading out the release of figures, which is something we've always wanted. And New York Comic Con is growing. I mean, it's developed from a 3-day to a 3.5-day, and now it's evolving to a 4-day convention. I don't think it'll ever be as big as a San Diego Comic Con. They don't announce a lot of movie information out in New York. It definitely is still a welcome change. I honestly think it's awesome that they saved something big like Marvel for New York Comic Con. Either way, so no, I'm excited. I can't wait to see what Battlegrounds holds.
No, because I think we will probably see a few new characters announced. If this to me sounds like it is the Marvel announcement prep. This is the Marvel announcement for Disney Infinity 3.0. They have been quiet since launch. We didn't really get what we were expecting at San Diego. And there's been a few times that they kind of come on and said stuff, but we don't really know anything about the Marvel side. And this is the Marvel announcement. This is what Marvel wanted. If they're making the announcement, they want to be the center stage. They don't want to be sharing it with any Jedis. They don't want to be any mouse or snowmen coming in. They want to be the main feature.
Now, you bring up a point about like Marvel figures to be announced. Now, I don't want to rub anything in because I know when we looked at that display, we were thinking that there was a certain amount of figures coming for certain franchises, like 16 Disney ones. Yeah, right. But the one I wanted to talk about was the 4 or 5 Marvel.
Yeah.
Now, do you feel a little bit more comfortable or even confident that we will get more Marvel than just 4 or 5?
I think 5. I think 5 plus the 2 we're getting in. I think Ultron and Hulkbuster will be extra ones on the side, because I think we've got Civil War coming out in what is it, April, just around the time the game hits. Seeing the images of like Vision, Scarlet Witch, Black Panther, and Winter Soldier. Those are the guys that I'm kind of looking at on the posters and thinking, well, if you've got that movie coming out, we're going to start to look. Black Panther would make sense to put him out there. If they're not going to do it now, they're going to have to wait till the single movie comes out. But he is going to be part of Civil War, and I've seen some sneaky pics of him in Germany in his outfit, so he's there. And literally just finishing off the Civil War comic books as well on Unlimited, so kind of fully up on the story of it all. But yeah, I think Winter Soldier, Ant-Man, Vision, those guys are all kind of going to be main center for at the front of Disney Infinity's Battlegrounds. That's the way I'm feeling. Okay,
so let's get a count here. So we have Ultron, we have Hulkbuster. You said Vision. Oh, let's not forget Ant-Man. So Ant-Man, Vision. You said Black Panther.
Yeah, and Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet Witch. That's 7 that I have.
Yeah. That feels like a strong lineup that nicely links into everything. I don't think we're going to
Spider-Man. That would be counting as 8, basically.
Yeah, I think Black Suit Spider-Man will be released as a single character. But I think it'll be announced at the event that it might be out before Christmas. I think it might be a December release.
Now, a question for two of them. No Quicksilver, in your opinion?
No, because I'm looking at all the Marvel toys and merchandise that I've seen over the last 6 months, and I can only count, I think, on maybe one hand how many Quicksilver bits of merchandise we've had. He's going to be in the new X-Men movie next year. Disney, what they did to him in Age of Ultron, I think they buried him. I think they've buried that character because they don't want any toys.
I think so too.
So I don't think Quicksilver's in, and I just don't think he's in it.
Now, obviously with Disney Infinity, they're always good about adding villains. I mean, we already knew about Ultron. Do you think we're going to get like a Crossbones?
Yeah, I think Crossbones could be. He could be in it. I don't think I think they will want to make as many toys as possible, and I think with all this crossover coins and toy box characters, wouldn't surprise me if Crossbones came out after the playset. We could be even looking at a June release, just to kind of spread out, because I don't seem to like releasing the villains at the same time they release the figures.
Okay, so we're looking, including Black Suit Spider-Man or not, and we're looking at 8 or 9 Marvel. That sounds pretty good.
I can't see how, if we're having a playset, I think we're looking at 5-6 figures anyway. There's enough characters coming in. You've got that movie coming out. It makes sense that we see that coming forward, to me at least. And I think after Age of Ultron, guys like like Vision and Scarlet Witch and Ant-Man all make sense. Those are the ones that they're out there. The toys are out there. The merchandise is there. It makes sense to kind of jump on that on there. It wouldn't surprise me if we saw that finally announced.
Okay, that sounds great.
Yeah. See, it's kind of funny because I think, as a Marvel fan, it still feels quite alien. I think after last year's thing of not having the superheroes, it's like playing the Jedis and stuff, and it's just like and I'm going to be, and I didn't find this with 1.0 at all, is I have still quite often chucked up when I've been playing through Takeover, chucking down Marvel characters, which I think because the Marvel characters still, to me, are still very fresh, still very strong, and something I love. I love those characters, and they are still strong enough. They might not have the finishing move, but they are kind of on par with the 3.0 characters so much. It doesn't feel like they're as handicapped. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'll have to agree with you. I think Hulk is a very great farmer, and 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 it's easy to go look for presents when you have flying characters.
I have Boba Fett, so I'm all right on that one.
Well, yeah, but I like my Falcon, so you can tell Boba to go somewhere else. At least my Falcon flies in his playset. Oh, burn Boba. Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I think it's like the Marvel stuff. I think it's all going to be pretty interesting. All going to be interesting to see where that goes from here. But I think, it's going to be nice to know that, in about a month's time, we're going to find a new bunch of information, because we're about a month away from that. So it's going to be interesting to see and have something to look forward to. As a Marvel fan, it's something I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so let's now move on to our next subject.
Thank you very much for watching, guys. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, and remember to check out the full podcast on our YouTube channel, and you can also find it on iTunes. And remember to check out thiskingdom.com, and I shall see you guys on another video.